Like I said, today's topic is going to be on cyclical thinking and cyclical moods and the difficulty of that whole thing. We're just going to get started with the sermon. What are we missing here? Uni bless your neighbors. Prayer requests, always open for prayer requests. If you have any prayers you want to request us to be praying for you. Pray for Jeremy Garner and I, please. We really would like to see each other, and the government's making it impossible. At this point, we've devised a plan where we'll meet in Canada and then try to get into the US, and if they deny it, then we'll just live in Canada for a few months and figure out how to house sit or something so that our finances are not so stretched tight. But the ideal situation would be that we could both be together in Seattle in the US so I can continue to work and run UNICULT Supply Co. Because if we go to Canada, I can't run UNICULT Supply Co. I can't accept new members. Like, we're just going to be on hold, for a while. And so that's not fun to be on hold for you guys or for me or for new potential members. So we got to keep this thing going, but I also have to see my partner. Thank you. Blessings to all. Canada rules. Just move there. I don't want to move to Canada. We want to be in the U.S. But the U.S. is being a jerk. Okay, cyclical moods. This whole thing has gotten me into a terrible state. I was really putting a lot of faith into the fact that this would work out and that I would see Jeremy. I didn't have any doubt in my mind that that would happen. And then it all kind of came crashing around me. Pray for Jennifer's 3 children. Jennifer, we are praying for your children. There's a lag on the camera, so I'm sorry about that, but are they okay? Is there a specific reason we should be sending our prayers, or just praying for them, just in general? Are they a handful? Or they have a cold? We're praying for that. We'll pay for you and Jeremy. Y'all will reunite soon. I like the typo of pray to pay. That's funny. Okay. So that whole thing like really got me down, and I just like all of my beliefs kind of started crashing around me. I was doubting my beliefs. I was doubting the UNICULT ideology. I was just doubting all this stuff. Jeremy can marry Christina and become Canadian. Then they can divorce, and you can marry Christina, become Canadian, then divorce, and then both you and Jeremy will be Canadian. Oh my gosh. Is gay marriage allowed in Canada? Definitely praying for you and Jeremy. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your support. It's really when you feel like Jeremy and I have not had any problem with anything. When I went to visit him, I was like, I'll come in February. Hello, welcome Daisy to your first camp church. And then I was like, I'll come to visit you in like the end of February. And I didn't know how I was going to get the money. And all of a sudden, I got all this money from my tax returns. And I just was able to go visit him. And it was exactly when I said I was going to visit him. So when he said that he was going to come here, and we thought that was the case, we thought it would just work out. And it didn't. So all of this whole thing kind of just like has just brought up a lot of emotions within me. And a lot of frustrations. And it's caused me to question the whole idea of creating a positive reality around you and of rejecting negative reality, because sometimes it feels like negative reality is punching you right in the face, saying, what do you think? What do you think is happening? You think this is positive? So sometimes life feels that way. And that is you can blame external surroundings on that, but a lot of times it's just how we're looking at things. And for me, feeling one thing after another causes my positive filter to kind of erode into this more negative filter. And I don't like to say that it's a more real filter, because it's not. Because if you look at everything in the highest possible light, I really believe this. If you look at everything in the highest possible light, everything's working out in your best favor. Like, this distance between Jeremy and I, like, We are going through so much. We're both having to figure a lot out when we're trying to plan together and we're trying to execute this plan together. And it's like, it's really bringing up a lot of stuff that we normally wouldn't have to do together. And so it's creating a little bit of conflict in our relationship that we're having to resolve as well. And so through bringing up that conflict and resolving it, we're creating a stronger relationship. I don't like to say that our distance is actually helping us because that's annoying to me, but I think that in the highest possible perspective that it is. Use theta when you turn in documents, download them when the authorities see that they will have to accept them and they will not even question it. Also, when you talk to them at the border. What do you mean theta? Like meditation? Just get one of your friends to marry Jeremy, then divorce him. No, I can marry Jeremy. That's not the problem. They're in Texas with their father. I left an extremely toxic relationship. I'm living in my truth in Arizona. Oh, Jennifer, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, we'll pray for them. And for you. You probably miss them a lot. A lot is clearing. It's true. This is part of it. Yes. Eagle eye view. Yes. Theta meditation. Yeah, that's a really good, suggestion. And, I mean, what happened is Jeremy was seeing if, all right, Stephen, we'll get to that. We're talking about cyclical moods right now, and I think that it's a good thing that you brought up. Not a good thing, but it's something we can talk about, and I can wrangle it into our topic. So we're still getting married. He got denied for a 6-month visa, so he was gonna do a non-immigrant visa to come here, but he's already applied for an immigrant visa, so the two visas contradicted. So they said he can't come visit. But our paperwork for marriage is still being processed. It's just going to take a year. And we can't be away from each other that long. It's insane. Yeah, I think he meant that when I was saying his thing was denied that it wouldn't go through. But it was just this 6-month visa. So now we're going to try to get a 3-month visa into Canada and then from Canada to the U.S. We don't know yet. We're trying to plan it out. Okay, Stephen says the LGBT community is being killed. What do we do? Is it right for me to use the same thinking for this type of tragedy and to say, in the highest possible perspective, the LGBT community getting killed is for the best? Is that good or bad? You know, obviously it's very insensitive. And I think that it's really hard when you're faced with such strong tragedies and hardships to look at things in the brightest possible way. The way that I see issues like that and the way that they hurt me, because that does truly hurt me to hear and to know, is that we are going through something as a culture. And the reason why we know about those deaths and the reason why we're talking about them right now and the reason why they hurt us is because our awareness is there. If this were happening and we didn't have any awareness whatsoever and we weren't even talking about it and it just happened, it might feel better to us because we don't know about it. But in reality, it would be worse. But because we know about it and we're all talking about it and we're all thinking about it, and as a culture, it's hurting us, as a larger scale culture, that is a step in the right direction because we're seeing, oh, maybe this is wrong. Maybe something needs to be done about this. Maybe the most oppressed people need to be protected. So this is my advice for this, is how you can look at it without it hurting you, because you can't control the external reality of that happening, but you can not kill people. They found ammo near LA Pride today too. I can't believe how much senseless violence is happening. Buy a piece of land and make your own country. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole world is full of crazy shit. Earth is backwards. Like, everything is backwards on Earth. It's crazy how much harmful thinking and pain and things that are wrong that people think are right, and dumb people being in power, and violence being what people think of as the answer. Like, Earth is backwards, and we're trying to fix that, and that's what the Unicole is doing. So, like, what can you do? What can we do to keep people safe of any oppressed group? of any group, you know, and it's to heal everyone. It's to heal those who are kind of at the top, really, right? The most entitled. And that sounds weird, but like, we have to heal the rapists. We have to heal the killers. We have to heal the elite. Because if we don't heal those people, these things will still happening. They're the ones committing these crimes. They're the ones perpetuating the society where everything is so painful for us. We can create positive media. We can create educational platforms. We can vocalize what we think are the solutions. Cynicism is a great first step. We see the problem, we vocalize it, and then we just feel bad. Then we have to come up with solutions. That's where the UNICULT, that's why the UNICULT is here. It's to help you with solutions. So what are the solutions? As far as your cyclical moods, let's start today too by loving the worst part of ourselves. Paige, that's an amazing suggestion. I'll go ahead and light the candle for that. It's on the floor. It fell over. I forgot. Here it is. My room is a mess. Will someone come help me clean it? I need an organizational person. We need to cease production of all technology that is meant to kill. Hi, Yoto. You guys have to meet Yoto. He's my roommate's pet sitting him. Yoto, come here. Hey, come here. Come here. Hi. Come here. I want to pick you up. Can I pick you up? Let's lay down. Ready? Oh, Yoto. Yoto. This is Yoto. Do you guys like him? Hi. Hi. You're so cute. You're so cute. Okay. Thank you. We need to cease production of all weapons. Obviously, humanity needs to do that. But we can't do that because we're not the ones making weapons. Unless you're building guns in your backyard, then stop. And unless you're doing that, then there's nothing we can really do. Ban guns, save the gays, promote technology for the good of all. Hang on, let me get my okay. This is happening. Okay. Think about the worst part of yourself. The part that you're the most ashamed about. Think about the worst thing you've ever done to somebody else. Think about the mean, nasty, cruel part of yourself that wishes harm on other people. You know, think of that part and love that part. Love it. Send it love because it is in pain and it needs comfort. And that was an amazing suggestion, Paige. And when I light this beautiful little baby candle, we will all feel immense love for all of the darkest aspects of ourselves. Because society is just a reflection of us. We are a reflection of society. It's a two-way mirror. That's quite a flame, huh? Look at it go. Have you ever seen a flame like that? It looks different in real life than on camera, but still looks pretty cool. Okay. You can be right here, little baby. Where does he go? Right here? I will run for president when I'm of age. So sometimes, thank you, Stephen. Sometimes things feel out of our control. And maybe one day we hear about, yeah, super symbolic, Paige. Good call. She says symbolic with the flame above the head. We're just this like. So sometimes we feel like we are, we can hear about negative news and it doesn't affect us as deeply. And other times we hear about negative news and it hits us so hard and we feel like these external surroundings. Sometimes we can have a really positive view and then other times they hit us and it's so depressing and so negative and so hard. And that's because, well, I don't know why it is. Probably it's partly to do with society. It's partly to do with cosmic energy, societal energy, your own personal cyclical understandings, the channels in your brain. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it happens that way. But the main thing is to accept the fact that you're going through these things. That's something I'm not very good at, and so my friend Christian actually reminded me of that yesterday. because I was like feeling terrible, and he's like, you can accept it, because I was just fighting it. I was like, I need to stop this. I need to stop feeling bad. I need to stop feeling bad. I need to find solutions. And that's a good way to think, but it's also good to just sit there, and Christina's always talking about this too. Sit there, feel it, let the emotion happen. Tell yourself that it's valid. The reason why you're feeling this way is because you have a valid reason to feel this way. It's never invalid. So validate your emotions, no matter what they are, and then you can start to think about solutions. Then you can start to think about ways to feel better. But you're allowed to feel pain when you're hurt. You're allowed to feel anger when you're angry. You're allowed to feel depressed when depressing things happen. It's not like you have to stay in this positive state. And the more you allow for these negative states, the more easy it is to stay in the positive way of being. Bad at it too. Can I marry you? I'm marrying Jeremy Garner. Sorry, but thank you. So the complexity too. I think the I'm a logical. I'm a logical depressed person. Like I got myself into depression logically. I was like, well, if this happens and this happens, then I must be depressed for this reason. And we can, blame society for a lot of that thinking if we want to. And that's why the UNICULT is this really logical positivity path. It's like thinking yourself into positivity if you're someone who, because Christina Martin's always like, stop thinking, just be happy. And I'm like, it's not going to happen for me. Like, I am going to keep thinking my way into whatever state of being that I focus on. So I've got to figure out solutions for that. And, you might be able to just stop thinking and be happy. If that's the case, by all means, do it. But if you find yourself digging yourself into these complex logic holes of, like, why you can't be happy, then you can come out of it. And I wonder, this is what I wonder, is, like, is if there's somebody who's not that complex, like a child, let's say. Children have complex emotions, but they're only so complex. We would probably say as adults that our emotions are more complex than a child's emotions, especially like maybe a toddler, right? I don't think that's necessarily true, and I think it's a dangerous way of thinking, but let's just say that there are some people who have less complex emotions based on their experiences, limited experiences. So they have all these bad things that happen to them. Maybe their teddy bear got taken away from them. Maybe they scraped their knee. All these, they were born, these things that happen on this scale of negativity. And then the things that happen on the scale of positivity. They got shaved ice. They did a cool picture. The parents are happy with them. They just kind of like love life, So you've got this like little sandwich of a spectrum of positivity and negativity. Then as you grow and you get more complex, you start getting these more complex things like existential suffering and then first love and things like that. And then it gets like you're still feeling as much pain and as much joy, and your potential for both is increased based on the complexity. And I think that if you have a smaller thing, the top of that spectrum and the top of this spectrum feel exactly the same. And the bottom of this spectrum and the bottom of this spectrum feel exactly the same as well. So when you're feeling very sad over, like, we always are saying, like, oh, these like poor, these poor, like, rich people feeling sad, they've never had a single hard thing in their life happen to them. How could they possibly be depressed? Well, maybe their complexity of suffering isn't as complex as a poor person who's had to, like, hustle on the streets and seen people die and all this other stuff, right? It's not going to be as big. But I still think that they're not as complex. Sadness, sorrow, feels as bad as somebody else's bottom of their complex thing. So that's a weird thing, but then we just get all these complexities, and the more complex you get, the more you can explore the negativity, and the more you can explore the positivity as well. And the key then is to not get stuck in exploring the negativity, but know that the more negativity that you explore, the more shadow, the more light you can find. I don't necessarily think of them as opposing things. I just see them as a spectrum. And the lower you go, the higher you can go. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more sad than you were before or more happy. You're probably going to be exactly the same amount of sad or happy as you were before, unless you learn how to manage your emotions. But it's just an idea. So, emotional Vipassana eliminates suffering. It is hard at first, but you can get good at it. I finally observed anger instead of letting it destroy me. I feel low energy today for my LGBT sisters and brothers. I feel like we had gained acceptance only to be targeted again. Thank you, thank you. Also in terms of density versus light, yeah. So, I mean, Stephen, don't feel like it's like a huge step backwards, right? It's not like all of society all of the sudden is back in 1970, you know, with regards to like the LGBT community. It's not like that at all. It's actually that there's one person, and now, so it used to be like everybody hated gays, and it was like everyone against LGBT, and now it's like everybody's pretty accepting, and then there's one person outside of it, or a small group of people outside of it, who are so homophobic, they can't progress, you know, to the place where everyone else is. So don't feel like all of a sudden there's this separation again. There's just a few people who are outside of this understanding that is really truly happening on a large scale, and that's what I mean. Like, you can appreciate that aspect of it. The fact that there's people trying to kill LGBT people is so shocking, and the fact that it's so shocking is actually a good thing, because we know that it's very rare and completely unacceptable, and most people feel that way as well. So it's a good step. It should never have been where it was, and it shouldn't be where it is now, but it's okay that it is. We're moving towards it. We're moving past it, and that kind of thing will be eliminated in the future. And just because one person is in so much pain that they feel they need to do that doesn't mean all of society is. Should be looking at more positive aspects. Maybe this will bring more attention to the vulnerability of our community. Exactly. And it's not, I mean, that's like, it is hard to like say like, oh, look at the positives of someone dying. Like, I get that. It's completely valid to feel angry, afraid, upset, ostracized. You are. That the LGBT community is. But not for long, hopefully. And I like what you said about it bringing attention and positive attention, because people will be horrified at that news, and I think that's a good thing, you know, because people should be. Most of the time, people just aren't even aware that other people exist. So yeah, so there's just this cyclical thinking. If you go back into your negative thinking, if there's something bad that happens in a movement like this, if there's something negative that's like really highlighted to you, LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans community, then it doesn't mean that you're going backwards in progress. It means that you are seeing it more clearly for what it is, and that's actually a really good thing. Camp Church, do you guys have any announcements? Tomorrow, Jeremy Garner's newest fairy video will be posted on his channel, Jeremy Garner, on YouTube. And I created a children's book. It's here. I'm going to bind it, hopefully after I clean my room. And then you guys can buy it if you want. Thank you, Bahumika. I illustrated it. I'm out of printer ink. Happened fast. I speak to fairies. I am one. Cool. I believe you, Paige. You should check out Jeremy's fairy videos. You probably learn a lot. He has like a whole amount of knowledge that doesn't exist elsewhere on Earth. I opened my door and went outside today, and this blue jay just flashed across my vision. I was like, whoa. Whoa. You graduated! Congratulations, Daisy. You watched them all already. Awesome, Paige. Hi, Yoto. How are you? I'm sorry my room's so messy. I know. He's so cute. He's the cutest. It's not too hard to pronounce. Oh. Cool! Glitch party again! Why do you think this keeps happening? I guess that this is just what happens at the end of Cam Church now. So I guess that means it's the end of Cam Church. It's so interesting why it would do that. Oh well. Uni bless you guys.